Hey guys, welcome back to Champlin Garage. We're back with the 71 C20 Duramax, and it's been a while since my last video. In the last video we got the motor trans bolted in, but we still had to finish up the rear of the frame, and we had to put the front end of the truck back together. Been doing a bunch of welding, grinding, cutting on it, and it'd be really boring and repetitive if you guys sat here and watched all that. So I'm not going to record me doing all that, but I'm going to go through, recap, show you what I did. So the whole rear end is stock right now. This is everything that came on the truck with the custom camper package. We are going to go back with leaf springs, but the leaf springs that we have are wider, so all of the hangers are going to have to get replaced. We have a new dually axle to go in, and we'll have to do a lot of custom fabrication. All of this, all of these supports are going to be taken out and replaced with welded in ones, and then we'll box the frame in back here just like we did up around the engine and trans. We're going to use the springs out of the wreck Duramax, and then I have a dually axle from a 2008 Duramax. We have some new spring perches that we'll weld on, bolt everything to, and this thing will be a true dually Duramax axle. So all of this stuff should be fully capable of handling the extra weight, extra power, extra torque, everything that the Duramax puts out, because if we were to hook it up to this axle, it'd probably just blow it up. So I'm going to go ahead, get the frame up on jack stands, get all these bolts out, get this whole rear end out the way. We have a little bit of mocking up to do, but I'll go ahead, pull this out, and get everything ready. These perches you can buy online, or I just cut them off of the donor truck, and then we went ahead and got them welded on here. We just cut out all the center section. I welded a little piece of plate in, that way it would even it out over these indents. And then we got it all supported, welded up. So now we're gonna throw those leaf springs in. So in the back, we got all of the stock braces cut out. I put in new pieces throughout the frame from the 13, and I went ahead and cut all my pieces and boxed it out. I still need to finish my welding on all the frame here. It's kind of just stitched in for now, and then we'll get it all cleaned up, throw a couple braces in here. I put everything so the axle ends up in the same exact spot as stock. That way, if I ever wanted to throw a normal bed on here, the axle should still be in the middle of the opening. I had this dually axle I bought on Facebook Marketplace, and it's junk. I spent the money on it, didn't check it. I trusted the guy. We threw it on, and it must have been in a wreck or something, because the tube right here is bent, which makes this tire kick out. So we're not going to be able to use this, but we still have the single rear wheel axle from the Duramax. We'll go ahead and throw in there and use that for now. Have this truck as a single wheel, maybe convert it to a dually with spacers. We'll just have to see. Got the whole back finished up, got the hitch put back on, and that's basically it back here. I have a lot more welding to do, and then throw a couple braces in, and we can start throwing everything back in place. All right, so it's about a week later. We got the Duramax single rear wheel axle put on. We had to cut off the perches, re-weld them on, cut off the shock mounts, re-weld them on further, and we will have to shorten the drive shaft, but we got all the tank straps welded on, we got the shock mounts welded on, and we got these two supports welded in. So the frame this far back should be finished. We got everything painted, everything's rust proof. So today we're gonna get that fuel tank thrown in and the shocks put in. Okay, so I just got the shocks and the tank put in. We went with the tank from the Duramax. It's a really, really tight fit. And where that drive shaft comes through, it's gonna be about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from that guard. So we do have room. There shouldn't be a whole lot of play in that anyways. And then I came through and notched the frame here a little bit so that this tank could get pulled over. And then to keep the plastic tank off of the frame to avoid any wearing, I put this rubber strip right in between to keep it from chafing any holes in the tank. This way we'll have the newer sending unit for the Duramax, and then I believe these hold 32 gallons of fuel compared to the old 18 gallon tank I had in here before out the Blazer. This will just allow us to hold a lot more fuel and have it be plastic instead of metal, have all the right lines, everything. And it's fitting in there, so I didn't have to go buy something else. And up on the front here, I really wanted to use the full radiator, intercooler, everything from the Duramax, and use the stock clutch fan. But in order to make everything fit up with that big old radiator that was in there, I had to notch the truck frame out. Right here, it just curved up. I notched down 2 inches. The radiator sits down in here, and then I welded the stock 13 mounts on. So we should be able to set the body mounts on there and bolt this radiator in exactly like how it was stock. We shouldn't lose any cooling capabilities and keep everything, condenser, intercooler, radiator, transcooler, everything right in one piece. So I'm going to go ahead, throw that on there, make sure it fits, and get it bolted down. It's all held in here together. It's all bolted up right, and then this way everything fits with the factory clutch fan. And then the way I did this, it'll bolt in completely like factory. I can use factory mounts. So on the front here, I got the whole Duramax core support bolted in exactly where it needs to be. The problem with using that is I had no way to mount the front of the fenders on to get all this bezel in place, because all that mounted to the stock core support. So what I did is I used the outside edges of the stock core support, cut it so it fit in here, it doesn't block any radiator or anything. Made a couple spots to where it bolts into the Duramax core support, welded brackets on in there so it bolts up to the fenders, and now it acts as an air dam, closing off that big gap in there, and also puts my headlight bezels exactly where they need to be, and it kind of gave a more finished look to the front of the truck. All right guys, so I'm going to wrap this video up there. We got the whole rear end swapped out. That should be able to handle everything that this motor puts out and everything that we're going to put this truck through. And we got all the body finished up. So the fenders, the cab, everything is mounted, bolted down where it needs to be. Everything should be secure and ready to go. There is a car show in 2 weeks that I really want to drive this thing down to. So 2-week deadline, we're going to try and get the whole wiring harness thrown in and hopefully get this thing running and driving. So the next video on this truck should be getting everything thrown together, starting it up, and making it to where it drives. So stay tuned for that. New video will be out here in another couple weeks. Thank you.